The silence around the New Orleans Saints facility is deceptive, because behind closed doors, the machinery of a franchise reconstruction is working at a fever pitch. We are looking at a pivotal moment in the history of this team. From the looming decisions in the upcoming draft to the complex reality of our quarterback room and the potential departure of a franchise icon, everything is on the table. If you are as invested in the black and gold as I am, join our community by hitting that subscribe button and helping us reach 1,000 subscribers today. Let us break down exactly what is happening in the Crescent City. The strategic focus for the New Orleans Saints as we move deeper into the spring has become crystal clear. Following the initial wave of free agency, the front office is signaling that the trenches and the perimeter are the primary areas of concern. When we look at the defensive side of the ball, the need for a high-impact edge rusher has moved to the top of the board. The organization understands that in a competitive NFC South, the ability to generate pressure on the quarterback without relying exclusively on blitz packages is paramount. This is where a prospect like Ruben Bain Jr. enters the conversation. His production at the collegiate level shows a refined hand technique and a relentless motor that fits perfectly into the defensive identity that the coaching staff aims to cultivate. Analyzing his film reveals a player who understands leverage and can collapse the pocket from the outside, which is something the defensive line has desperately missed. Simultaneously, the offensive side of the ball is looking for a spark at wide receiver. The team is clearly looking for a playmaker who can stretch the field and provide a reliable target for whoever is under center. Carnell Tate is a name that continues to gain traction in internal discussions. His ability to create separation at the top of his routes and his reliable hands make him a prototype for the modern NFL wideout. The Saints have historically valued high IQ players who can process defensive coverages on the fly, and Tate checks those boxes. From a cap perspective, targeting these positions in the first round is a sound fiscal strategy, allowing the team to secure high-value talent on rookie contracts while they maneuver through some of their more expensive veteran deals. The draft board is essentially a puzzle, and the current consensus suggests that finding a cornerstone defensive end to pair with the existing rotation and a dynamic receiver to complement the current depth chart will define the success of this draft class. There is a lot of work to be done, and the scouting department is currently putting in long hours to ensure they have their board set for every possible scenario. It is a classic rebuild-on-the-fly approach that requires absolute precision in the evaluation process. As we look ahead, the team's willingness to stick to their guns on these two priority positions will tell us a lot about their long-term vision. But the draft is only one piece of a much larger and more complicated puzzle, and the instability at the most important position on the field is creating significant ripple effects throughout the entire organization. If you are enjoying this deep dive into the Saints off-season strategy, please take a second to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. Your support allows us to keep bringing you this level of analysis. The situation surrounding Derek Carr has become one of the most polarizing topics among the fan base and the media alike. As we navigate the current offseason, reports indicate that the New Orleans Saints are facing a legitimate uphill battle if they intend to move on from their veteran signal caller. The market for quarterbacks is always volatile, but the specific contract structure and the current performance trends of Derek Carr have created a unique set of obstacles for the front office. When you look at the financials, any potential trade partner is going to be wary of the cap implications and the remaining years on the deal. This is not just about talent, it is about the entire architecture of the salary cap and how it impacts the ability to build a championship roster around the quarterback position. The team is in a position where they must weigh the cost of keeping him against the potential return of a trade, which currently appears to be underwhelming given the state of the league's quarterback landscape. From a tactical standpoint, Derek Carr has shown flashes of brilliance, particularly when he has time in the pocket and a clean progression, but the consistency has been the major point of contention. The coaching staff has worked extensively to tailor the scheme to his strengths, yet the results have often fallen short of the high expectations set at the beginning of his tenure. If the organization decides that a change in direction is necessary, they will have to be extremely creative in how they structure a deal, perhaps even involving the absorption of some salary to make a trade palatable for another team. It is a delicate game of chess. The uncertainty surrounding his status creates a ripple effect, impacting how the team approaches the draft and their aggressiveness in free agency. If they are paying a significant premium for a veteran quarterback who might not be the long-term solution, it limits their flexibility elsewhere. We have seen this movie before in the NFL where teams get stuck in a purgatory of mid-tier quarterback play, and the Saints are clearly trying to avoid that fate. The next few weeks are critical. If there is no movement on the trade front, the team will have to commit to a plan that either involves a total reset or a final push with the current roster. It is a high-stakes scenario that will define the tenure of the current front office. Decisions made regarding the quarterback position often determine the fate of a regime, and the internal pressure to get this right cannot be overstated. As we monitor the situation, the silence from the organization is likely a strategic decision to maintain leverage, but the window to act is slowly closing as we approach the draft. While the quarterback situation dominates the headlines, the potential departure of a franchise legend like Cameron Jordan is tugging at the heartstrings of the fan base. The reports surfacing from CBS Sports regarding the interest from the Kansas City Chiefs add a layer of complexity to the Saints' defensive identity. Cameron Jordan is not just a defensive end. He is the face of this defense and a pillar of the community, having spent his entire career in New Orleans. Seeing him potentially linked to a championship contender like Kansas City highlights his remaining value to a team that is looking for a veteran presence to anchor their defensive front. For a team like the Chiefs, adding a player with his pedigree and leadership qualities is a move that pays dividends beyond the stat sheet. He brings a level of professionalism and a deep understanding of defensive schemes that can elevate a younger group of pass rushers. From our perspective in New Orleans, it forces a difficult conversation about the transition period the team is currently undergoing. Do you keep a veteran presence who is nearing the end of his career, or do you prioritize the youth movement and salary cap relief? The emotional impact of losing such a fixture cannot be ignored, as he has been a consistent force against both the run and the pass for well over a decade. His ability to set the edge and provide leadership in the locker room is something that is incredibly difficult to replace. If he were to depart, it would leave a massive void that would have to be filled by a committee approach or through aggressive draft acquisitions. The salary cap implications are also significant, as his current contract status is part of the broader financial challenges the team is navigating. If the Saints are looking to get younger and faster on defense, the departure of a high-priced veteran might be the path of least resistance, even if it is the most difficult one to accept on a personal level. The coaching staff would have to completely reinvent their defensive front, likely relying more on younger players who are still developing. It is a reality of the modern NFL that even the most iconic players eventually move on, but that doesn't make the prospect of seeing him in another jersey any easier to digest. We have to look at this with a cold, analytical eye. If the team is truly in a rebuilding phase, maximizing the value of every roster spot is essential. However, the intangible value of a leader like Cameron Jordan is something you cannot measure in a spreadsheet. This is going to be one of the most watched storylines of the free agency period, as we wait to see if the Chiefs make a formal push or if there is a path for him to remain in New Orleans for one final run. It is clear that Dennis Allen and the entire front office have their hands full this offseason. With the draft looming, the uncertainty surrounding the quarterback, and the status of our defensive legends, the Saints are at a major crossroads. We will continue to follow these stories as they develop and provide you with the most reliable updates from the facility. What do you think? Should the team move on from their veteran core to start the rebuild, or is there still one more championship push left in this group? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe for more exclusive content.